URC power rankings for round number 12, folks. It's kind of a weird round because we're in the middle of the Six Nations. They're taking a fallow week for that comp, so the URC comes back into action. We've had some South African teams playing catch-up games as they've been behind. They're playing games down in summer, unaffected by the Six Nations because they're not part of the Six Nations. So it's a bit of a weird time, but I've calculated the power rankings for round number 12, including the catch-up, like the Lions had a catch-up game against the Sharks. That data has been included here. We're going to go through them and see who in the URC is in form. Keeping in mind that I don't look at the squads that are named when I do these power rankings. It's just the results. So if you played a B team because half your side's away with the Six Nations, that just kind of is how it is. That is the nature of the beast. But yeah, I'll admit I did opt to sleep after 3 weekends of like 3 o'clock in the morning wake-ups. I didn't watch as much URC as I normally would have. Apologies for that, but feel free to fill me in on any bits that you think are noteworthy. Starting at the bottom, Zebra, your spot on the power rankings matches your spot on the table, which is dead last. I don't think they're disgraceful. Like, they got beaten by Munster. It was not a terrible result. They were in it for quite some time, but they're 10 losses in a row. They are firmly at the bottom of the URC log, so thus the same on my power rankings. Then the Scarlets, who are a proper kind of up and down mixed bag side. They lost to Edinburgh. Their recent record is like a win, a draw, and a loss, with the loss being the most recent game. That's the same spot as it is on the table. I think they had like a 14-point lead in that game, didn't they? So yeah, real up and down for the Scarlets. And then another Welsh side in the Dragons. I'm loath to be too critical of the Dragons this year. They had another draw. They drew with Benetton. So like they're down 2 and the Scarlets are down 4. Zebra is the same, but I don't want to be too hard. Their last win in the US, I think, is back in January for the Dragons, but it still feels like a better season than what I've often seen from the Dragons, where they've been firmly at the bottom of the table. So can't be too critical. And then Edinburgh. You are the same as the last time I did the power rankings in 13th, but I'm putting your jersey on because you got to win over the Scarlets. You scored some nice tries. Your 2-match losing run is over. It took me a while to find the jersey. I have all the URC jerseys kind of in a shelf. Edinburgh was right there at the bottom. It had been squashed under a bunch of jerseys in the corner because it's been a while since I've worn the Edinburgh jersey. But you got to win, so we put the Edinburgh kit on today. Even if you haven't gone up on the power rankings, I still gave you some points for beating, admittedly, not the best side in the URC, but you had a win, so good on you, Edinburgh. Next row, Benetton. Benetton's form's a bit weird. They got a couple of draws in a row, so they kind of benefit from the fact that the likes of the Dragons and the Scarlets have dropped in the power rankings. Benetton's, 13th on the log? I've got them 12th on the power rankings. They're not convincing by any means. And speaking of not convincing, I would go further to say disappointing. The Sharks. Every time I think you guys are about to turn a corner and you're down 3 spots, you manage to just take that hope and just dash it. You're a bit like watching my Blues at times in Super Rugby. I get my hopes up, stupidly get my hopes up and think, yeah, maybe, and then bam, Sharks in the last time they did the power rankings, they've lost to the Lions and the Bulls. And they've been pretty poor. They got absolutely smashed by the Bulls. Really disappointing. So, yep, down in 11th, and that's the same spot you are in the log, so maybe that's fair. Then Connacht, who had they were down in the doldrums for quite a while, but they've got a couple of wins in a row now. They beat Glasgow. So that's a good win. Again, it's Six Nations period. Maybe Connacht benefits a little bit from having fewer players away with the international team, but man, like it was an 80th minute winner. Hell yeah. Go Connacht. You're always a bit of you got your new stand open, which looks great, and you're always a bit of a plucky underdog. So I like seeing Connacht do well. Pleased for them. And then the Stormers. You guys were like the chosen ones at the end of the year. You hadn't had any losses. What's happening? You've lost 3 in a row. I mean, I've got them lower on the power rankings because the power rankings, as I said, is more about form than just points in the bank. The Stormers have got the points in the bank. They're in 5th. But they've lost 3 games in a row. And looked bad. I don't know what's happened. Too much partying in the New Year period? I don't know. But the Stormers are not looking the same side they were just a few weeks ago, really. Really, really bizarre. But they've still got a talented squad enough to turn it around. But anyway, they are down what? Down 6 spots. Terrible. Then we got Ulster, who are also down, what, 3 spots? I still think Ulster's season's going all right. But they had their loss to the Ospreys. Their recent record is a win, then a loss, then a win, then a loss. So she's a bit up and down, which maybe reflects their spot on the power rankings. They still have some decent points in the bank. They're 6th on the table, slightly better than I've got them here. And then Munster, who have also been a bit up and down. You guys are what, like 4th on the table, which is pretty good. Beat Zebre. Like it was you had to work for it, but they gave you a game and you still won comfortably in the end. But 1-2 from the last 3. I didn't give you a ton of credit for the win over Zebre at home, but it's some credit. So, yeah, another side which has been a little bit kind of up and down. And then Cardiff, who are third on the table and beat Leinster, even by like a low-scoring 8 points to 7 match. I haven't got you up on the power rankings. I did give you a boost with that win, trust me. But other sides ended up winning as well. And Cardiff's recent record is win, loss, win, loss, win. So again, despite that big win, which I did give you credit for, you're still sitting in 6th, which is a little bit below where you are on the actual table. But you're still a good news story. And then these guys, with all the off-field drama, the Ospreys, I've got in 5th, which is up 4 spots. They beat Ulster. If I'm not mistaken, they are unbeaten in 5 games, which a lot of sides cannot say. That does include a draw, but man, that's quite an incredible one. They're still 9th on the table, so they're a bit of an outlier in terms of the power rankings, giving them more credit for recent results. But yeah, talk about responding to all the off-field drama in the right way with a win. Top row, the Bulls. The Bulls, after seemingly having so much negative press around them. Oh, you shouldn't got rid of Jake White. He wasn't the problem. And all that jazz. They've gone and flogged the Sharks. And I think they're, 3 wins in a row? Including 2 wins which are away, which I give more credit for. And 2 of them were big point margin wins. So I've given them a decent amount of credit, the Bulls. I think they're up a little bit too much. I've got them up 6 spots, which is more than I would like to see one team move, but that's the way it's come out. Yeah, they're 8th on the table. So there's a bit of a disparity there, but man, 3 wins in a row. The opposite record of the Stormers. So as the Stormers plummet, the Bulls have shot right up. And then the Lions. Goodness me, the Lions. Yeah, I've got you as the top South African side at the moment. They've got a couple of wins. They've benefited from the fact they've played 2 games since they've done the last power rankings because they were a game behind. So that will even out a little bit, but they've gotten a 1-week kind of double boost. But yeah, wins over the Sharks and the Stormers. Pretty good. And they get always so much grief about their attendance because Ellis Park is cavernous. I think they had over 10,000 fans at their most recent game, which is more than most of the URC teams got in the same round. So, yeah, that side that the camera faces is always the sunny side, and that has fewer people sitting on it. I'm not saying their attendance is the best in the league or anything, but maybe gets a little bit more stick than it deserves. I think the optics of it. It's like watching the Blues at Eden Park. 10,000 people in a 50,000 seater doesn't look good at Eden Park. Similar logic with Ellis Park. And then Glasgow. 2nd, they lost. They would have gone first after Leinster had lost, but didn't happen. Lost to Connacht 15 points to 10. I've got them the same as they were last time. They are top of the actual URC table. And then Leinster with their loss to Cardiff. Again, a lot of players away. But I'm just looking at the result. I still got them top. But yeah, the gap between them and the chasing pack has narrowed with that loss. But yes, that's the URC. As I said, I watched as much as I could while getting a full weekend sleep after disruptions during the Six Nations. Six Nations obviously back next week. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. Some of the teams I feel like moved around a little bit too much for my liking, but hey, it is, I guess, nice. If it would just match the table, it'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it? But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts. Take care, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.